Tonight on CTV News at 5.
Mostly calls, and they're not very good. I don't know that I'm particularly adept at it, but whatever they're trying, it's not working. I'm not an easy mark.
Fraud fatigue. Canadians are tired of being on scam alert.
They're told, oh, it's just your period, it's just cramps, suck it up, it's part of being a woman.
Endometriosis awareness. Women living with the chronic condition say nobody should suffer in silence.
After a mild afternoon, temperatures turn colder tonight, and it's going to be a chilly finish to the week.
Live from the Maritimes News Center, this is CTV News at 5.
Good evening and welcome to CTV News at 5. I'm Brianne Foley. Maria is off tonight. Thank you for joining us. First at 5 tonight, fed up with fraud. Whether it's on your phone, your computer, or in person, if you find yourself extra cautious of being scammed these days, you're not alone. CTV's Emma Convey reports, as fraudsters become more sophisticated, Canadians have become more suspicious. Emma?
Hi, Brianne. I don't know about you, but I often get texts and emails from unknown contacts that I'm a little hesitant before responding out of fear of being scammed. Turns out many Maritimers feel the same way as it gets harder and harder to identify fraud. Unexpected and unknown messages, whether they're through email, phone, or text, have Maritimers on high alert.
Yeah, you kind of think it's, there's a fair chance that it's a scam or fraud.
I check my email, I check my bank statements, I don't answer calls that I don't recognize, so I've never been scammed. Or
at least fallen victim to it. That seems to be the case for many other Canadians as well. A recent RBC report found 81% feel there is a new scam to watch out for almost every week.
Criminals are smart and they're always one step ahead. So if they have a certain trick that works, people catch on to it, word gets around, so they have to invent a new trick, a new scam for unsuspecting people to fall in it.
Now there's things with deepfakes and AI, that it just seems like it's more possible for people to have more kind of believable, more credible things, and that's a concern.
RBC also found 83% say it's safest to assume unexpected texts, emails, and phone calls are a scam.
It scares me looking at everything that I know. How much of it is a scam, a fraud, a sham?
Retail analyst Bruce Winder says in the last 5 to 6 years, scams have accelerated. The most common ones being fake websites, tampering with gift cards, as well as phishing emails and texts.
There's also scams, outside of retail, like romantic scams where people posing to be a romantic partner preying on, vulnerable people looking for money and compensation. Identity theft is big. Even employees, or some employees who might, in some suspect locations, double charge you.
Winder says it's difficult for Canadians to avoid scams with how sophisticated they have become.
Ask yourself the question, is this a scam, before you do anything? Could this be a scam? Listen to that little voice. Does something feel too good to be true? If it is, it's probably a scam.
And Brianne, with March being Fraud Prevention Month, retail analyst Bruce Winder says if you do fall victim to a scam, it is through your credit card, you can contact the bank for compensation. But if it's through cryptocurrency or Bitcoin, you can't really get that back. But regardless, contact authorities if you are scammed, because it is a crime. Brianne.
Well, thank you for that advice, Emma. We do appreciate that. That is CTV's Emma Convey here in studio. But now let's head over to Bruce Frisco to take a look at what's happening coming up tonight on 6.
Well, I'll tell you, Brianne, hundreds of people turning up to another big protest outside the Nova Scotia legislature today. They are angry over proposed government budget cuts to the arts and culture sectors, along with those in tourism. Premier Tim Houston on the receiving end of a lot of that anger today while walking back to his office. We'll have more coming up tonight on CTV News at 6. Well, the Maritime region have signed on to a nationwide agreement to build an electricity corridor from coast to coast. It's a natural fit, says New Brunswick's energy minister, after a winter of worrying about whether our energy supply would be enough. CTV's Laura Brown will have more on that for us tonight at 6. And also tonight, the conflict in the Middle East is already being felt at the gas pumps around here. In Nova Scotia, there was a big jump in fuel prices overnight as the Energy Board used its interrupter clause. Diesel is up significantly as well, and industry experts are warning people to expect more. We'll look at what all of this means when you join us tonight for CTV News at 6. Okay, right now we'll head over to the CTV Atlantic Weather Center and Kaylin Mitchell and what turned out to be a picture-perfect day around here.
There was one other thing that was up today in the Maritimes, Bruce, and that was the temperatures.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, after a snowy, slushy start to the day for parts of the region, boy, the temperatures bounced back as we made our way into and through the afternoon. Here's where we stand now as we're moving into the first part of this evening around the region. And temperatures in Nova Scotia sitting a few to several degrees above zero. For parts of New Brunswick, a lot of temperatures at this hour in the mid to high single digits. I even got a few reports of some temperatures in New Brunswick today touching on 10, 11 degrees, one of those at Cambridge Narrow. So thank you very much for that report. 4 degrees right now, both Summerside and Charlottetown. This, of course, meant that parts of the region that did start off today with some snowy and slushy conditions saw a good deal of melt of that snow as we went through the day. Now, there's a turnaround in temperatures coming up for tonight as the wind direction becomes more west and northwest as opposed to the west and southwest direction that it's out of now. Those winds being sustained between 10 and 20 kilometers per hour with a few gusts between 30 and 40. And that slight change in the wind direction for tonight is going to return some colder air in out of the province of Quebec. So, temperatures headed back down below freezing tonight for the Maritimes, which means any wet or slushy surfaces out there could become icy, so be careful of that moving through tonight into tomorrow. Additionally, for tonight, it'll be partly cloudy skies around the Maritimes. There's a little trough of low pressure that's going to be dipping north to south in the region. That's currently positioned up around the Gaspé Peninsula, as well as the St. Lawrence River Valley. There are some scattered flurries along that trough, so a few flurries, or at least a chance of flurries, as we make our way through this evening and tonight for parts of New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, and northern eastern areas of Nova Scotia. I'll have more on the forecast a little bit later on. Brianne.
Well, thank you for that, Kaylin. It's a good day to be inside in a court, and a Saskatchewan basketball official hopes to toss his name into the history books. As CTV's Donovan Mace shows us, the nearly 80-year-old ref is on a roll to make it happen.
In this Regina gym, an elementary girls basketball game has become one part of a potential Guinness World Record, but not due to the performance of any player. Aptly known as Big Mike, Michael Martirana runs up and down the floor at the spry age of 80 as he attempts to be the oldest active basketball official in the world.
I love basketball, and that's what it is.
Growing up on the streets of the Bronx, New York, basketball has been in Martirana's life for more than 7 decades.
We played almost every day.
He continued to hoop well into his 50s.
That's a good call. You're making a
foul in number 11.
As a former teacher and high school coach, he didn't start his career as a referee until almost his 60s.
I never liked referees at all. I didn't like them. I thought they were unfair, unjust, didn't know what they were doing. But when I became one, I became more appreciative of the job that they do.
Those are fouls?
These are fouls. No, these are fouls.
And now finds the most joy in mentoring younger referees like JL.
I don't think anyone would be able to beat his record for a long time, so I think he's a one-of-a-kind kind of ref.
Passing along his decades of knowledge to the next generation.
This helps somebody. This helps people, kids, especially the kids. I really care about them becoming better.
And 1 month out from his 81st birthday, Martirana has no plans to hang up the whistle anytime soon.
And someone said to me, well, if you get the Guinness Book of World Records and next year you come back and you do it, you can break your own record. I never thought about that. I didn't think about it in those terms. I said, well, I'll just keep doing it as long as I can do it.
Donovan Mace, CTV News, Regina.
Well, thank you for that. It is now time for our first break here on CTV News at 5. But first, a preview of what's coming up next.
I'm Julian Matuana, the Executive Director of the African Nova Scotian Music Association, also known as ANSMA. I'm sitting in this new amazing studio, and we'll tell you more about it tonight on CTV News at 5.
I'm Maria Saru in Summerside, Prince Edward Island. Tonight on CTV National News. Family doctors closing their doors as the patient waitlist grows.
I can't work any harder than I've been working.
Their frustration with the system and what they say is driving them out. Tonight on CTV National News and ctvnews.ca.
We're Give to Live. Our mission is to inspire you to live happy and healthy lives through generosity, fitness, and achieving the extraordinary. Join us and support our charities. Get inspired at givetolive.ca and achieve your extraordinary.
Welcome back. The African Nova Scotian Music Association has turned up the volume in downtown Dartmouth. As CTV's Hafsa Arif shows us, the organization opened a new studio space to support Black musicians across the province.
Folks have access to instruments, like pretty much a quartet.
For artists, space matters. A place to experiment, rehearse, a place to be loud and be heard. Now in downtown Dartmouth, that space exists.
We want this to be a production hub for our community, but we also want it to be a place where folks can feel like they can be creative and also they'd want to use the equipment here, like they'd want to go to any studio.
Inside, artists can record vocals, mix and master tracks, rehearse live sets, even launch a podcast. A significant upgrade from the association's former studio.
We want folks to see this as home, a place they can feel creative, and you ask me what is left to do in here. We want to continue to feng shui the place and make it more of a vibe.
Only a handful of members have used the space so far, but the reaction has been immediate.
The reception has been really good for the folks who've been using it. We've got our booking system up on our website, so membership at the moment can book time.
Located in the heart of Dartmouth, the move to downtown was intentional.
I see this as an incubator, a black production hub, a space where people who, if they're performing at Scotiabank Center one night and they come in a day earlier, they stay a day late, and they need a place to lay down some ideas. Like, I want people to see this as a viable option.
The studio is now open for member and community bookings, with rehearsals already underway for ANSMA's upcoming Lift Every Voice concert next week. Hafsa Arif, CTV News, Dartmouth.
Music to my ears, Kaylin.
Oh, well put, Brianne. So nice to have you hosting the show.
So nice to be on the show with you.
Yeah, and we've got weather well covered because Brianne also covered off weather for us this morning. So there's a lot of weather knowledge going on in the program right now. Speaking of which, we did see some snow last night, of course. Bit of a slushy start to the day, as Brianne certainly knows. But following up in behind that, it was sunshine and milder temperatures. We're looking out here at some snow around the locks at Shuby. I'll have more in the forecast next.
Welcome back. Well, Kaylin, it's time for weather, and was I right today?
You were, absolutely, right? Snowy start, sunshine afterwards, mild temperatures, and of course we have a colder night ahead. So as a heads up for everybody in the Maritimes, be careful about some of the wet and slushy spots turning icy tonight. We're looking here at the view of Sydney from Member 2 First Nation in Cape Breton. You know, Cape Breton was one of the areas in the Maritimes that did pick up a little bit more as far as the snow went. Some reports of around 15 centimeters in around the Sydney area, as well as a couple other communities in Cape Breton, including St. Anne's. That weather system is now past us. Barometric pressure around the Maritime region is now rising a little bit after it fell last night, as this quick-moving low-pressure system came in and passed, and now it is heading off towards the northeast of Newfoundland. Taking a look at things on radar then, not a lot is showing up right now, but there is a trough of low pressure that is coming in from the north of us, and that'll keep partly cloudy conditions around the region for tonight and bring in a chance of some flurries for northern areas of New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, and the north and east of Nova Scotia. There's a further chance of flurries in the Maritimes for tomorrow, but they're expected to be pretty widely scattered, so for any given community, it's almost like a 30 or 40% chance. Taking a look at our forecast timeline then for cloud cover and precipitation. So this is showing the clouds and the flurries. You can see in through the grays, those partly cloudy skies that I mentioned, and these little flecks of blue showing up around the north of New Brunswick, around parts of Prince Edward Island, and later tonight towards the east of Nova Scotia. Is the chance of some flurries in the region. In the forecast for tomorrow, pretty cloudy start to the day. There'll be some isolated flurries around. Moving into the afternoon, the sun is expected to break through a little bit. The most for northern areas of New Brunswick, where it could actually clear to become mostly sunny. Other parts of the Maritimes can expect maybe some breaks or at least some peaks of some sunshine. Moving through Thursday evening and Thursday night, further clearing, and it is going to be on the colder side through the end of this week, but temperatures trend upwards through the upcoming weekend. Let's take a look at the winds in the forecast. Talked about this earlier, but as we move through the night, the winds become more west and northwest in direction, and that brings that colder air off the continent. Winds in the forecast for Thursday, variable in direction around the region. Out of the north, 4 northern areas of New Brunswick, but down through central and southern parts of that province, more to the northeast. Same thing goes for Prince Edward Island. A northeast wind for eastern and central areas of Nova Scotia, but a little bit more directly out of the east around the southwest of that province. Some of the wind gusts for tomorrow will be in the range of around 20 to 50 kilometers per hour, so a little bit of a blustery day. Taking a look at low temperatures in the forecast for tonight, for many parts of the Maritimes, they'll actually be falling back at least a few to several degrees below the freezing mark. Colder temperatures for a few areas, including parts of Prince Edward Island tonight, with Charlottetown and Summerside getting down to around -12. And northern areas of New Brunswick with low temperatures between -11 and -17. So obviously we're going to be off to a cold start to the day tomorrow. In the afternoon, high temperatures remain a few to several degrees below zero for much of New Brunswick. Even around -10 up around Campbellton. -10 for Charlottetown and Prince Edward Island for tomorrow. In eastern areas of Nova Scotia, some of the high temperatures tomorrow between around -6 and -9. In the west of Nova Scotia, most highs between -4 and 0, but a few right around the southwest. Yarmouth up towards Shelburne could squeak out a couple of degrees above 0. In the forecast for Friday around the region, it's mostly a mix of sun and cloud, and high temperatures that'll range from a few degrees below to just above the freezing mark. Let's take a look at our Weather Watcher for tonight. And tonight's Weather Watcher is coming in from 6-year-old Asher Sobey from Middle Sackville, Nova Scotia. Asher has sent us a drawing of a snowy winter night, but the snowman is having a good time out there with those snowflakes falling. Thank you, Asher. Great drawing. If you'd like to be one of our Weather Watchers, you can send them in to CTV Weather Watchers, P.O. Box 1653, Halifax, Nova Scotia, B3J2Z4, or email kaylin.mitchell@bellmedia.ca. Brianne.
Well, I think Asher drew some inspiration from last night, Caitlin. A story now of how a British Columbian man turned his childhood dream into reality. Here's CTV's Adam Sawaski with the uplifting story.
Sitting in the morning sun. Ever since DJ Jackson started singing as a kid with his friends,
but we'd be on the corner just humming and, moving and grooving.
He's had 3 big dreams.
All I wanted to be was a cowboy, a singer, and a fireman.
But he never would be, DJ was told while growing up in the southern states, because of the color of his skin. Look like nothing's gonna come my way. But DJ was determined. Got a job sweeping floors to pay for a firefighting course, and did so well, the department had to hire him as a trainee.
They treated me bad. They called me all kinds of names and stuff, but I thought, nobody's going to ever break me.
Eventually, the prejudiced people left, and DJ earned a full-time position, which led to an historic headline in the local paper.
And I fell in love with it, man. I thought, this is it. This is my life.
But that was just one dream realized. I left my home in Washington. During a vacation in Vancouver, DJ experienced so many random acts of kindness, he called his mom.
And guess what? Nobody called me today or shot at me. And she said, what? I said, and guess what, Mama? I'm staying.
Eventually, DJ did move to Canada permanently, where he achieved his other dreams of becoming a cowboy for a bit and touring as a singer for even longer. I'm sitting on the dock of a bay. But DJ wasn't into wasting time and started pursuing a 4th dream.
Christopher Reeves.
DJ's walls are filled with photos from the almost 180 movie and TV shows he's appeared in, along with many of the major stars he's worked with, from Adam Sandler to John Travolta.
My pride and joy. I spent 3 days with the chap, Muhammad Ali, and he taught me strength.
But if you ask Joshua who inspired him to never give up on his dreams,
Mother, ooh.
He'll point to a picture of his mom.
She said, you just be you and treat everybody the same, and your day will come.
Yeah. Because if you can keep singing through the low notes of life, just imagine how wonderful it will feel when you nail every single high one. Still got it. Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Burnaby.
Well, on that uplifting note, we'll take a break, but here's a preview of our next story.
I'm Vanessa Wright in Halifax. March is Endometriosis Awareness Month. It's a chronic disease that affects 1 in 10 women, including many here in Nova Scotia. You'll hear from some of them and why they're advocating for change coming up on CTV News at 5.
Welcome back. March is Endometriosis Awareness Month, and even though the disease affects 1 in 10 women, there is still a lack of research on it. As CTV's Vanessa Wright reports, it has turned patients of the condition into advocates.
Julie Catino is just one of nearly 2 million Canadians living with endometriosis.
It's been long, exhausting, painful.
She was officially diagnosed with the chronic condition in 2020, but has dealt with its symptoms for most of her life.
You know, I have a good team that, it wasn't as long for me once I identified the symptoms, did the research, went to my family doctor, but, it was still a 3+ year journey from that point, and I was obviously suffering unknowingly.
It was just a lot of unexplained symptoms, but they were impacting my daily life.
Karista McIsaac has a similar story. She was diagnosed with it 4 years ago.
So when I woke up from surgery, I asked, did you find it? She goes, oh yeah. She goes, we found endometriosis. And I looked at her and I said, so I'm not crazy. And she said, no, you're not crazy.
Endometriosis affects 1 in 10 women, according to the Endometriosis Network of Canada.
Starting at the age of their first period, so about 1.5 million Canadians, where the lining of the uterus, which normally comes out onto your sanitary napkin, actually we feel backs up into the fallopian tubes and out into your pelvis. We're not talking about mild cramping typically. We're talking about cramping that takes people out of work, out of school, unable to really function.
But research on the condition is sparse.
I feel because of societal normalization of pain for women, they're told, oh, it's just your period, it's just cramps, suck it up, it's part of being a woman. It's as common as diabetes and asthma, and yet there's not near the amount of funding put into research on this.
A reality that has turned many patients into advocates.
I hope that the research and all of the work that we're putting in will help so many more just feel seen and then get diagnosed faster than we did.
Vanessa Wright, CTV News, Halifax.
Always nice for people to become advocates as well. Okay, so my drive-in this morning was gross at 3:30.
Yeah, it was a little slippery out there first thing in the morning, wasn't it?
It definitely was. How's tomorrow looking?
Tomorrow's drive-in should be okay as long as there aren't any icy spots from sort of the snow melt that happened during the day today, and the temperature is getting colder tonight. A little bit more freeze thaw in the extended forecast, and more on that coming up at 6.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. CTV News National begins right now.